funny because now I'm like nerdy.
That was so good. Let's go.
I don't think it's so much right or wrong. I think it's like you make a decision, you're growing your tree branch, which shows, or you're growing your roots, which you don't really see.
Yeah.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This isn't usual. This is just my treatments because you're in town. Like, you gotta keep it nice and pretty.
All I need is everything you could ever get. So what is on the docket today, Sir Brian?
Today, we'll go get coffee and breakfast, and my friend who bought one of the pieces from the auction, we'll give it to him and maybe chit chat with him for a bit. Then maybe the gym, and then after that, we'll have a meeting with McKenna, who's the designer for all like the ring collabs. After that, kind of whatever we want.
So what did you come up with, Asterisk?
How did I? I knew that I wanted the slogan to be something about like the details of things and like paying attention to life.
Yeah.
And so I had that logo that had an asterisk in it.
Yeah.
And that was just like my clean version, or like more, like cleaner, like dialed in version of the Schmood logo.
Yeah.
And I was using it for a different thing, you know, when you're writing out something.
Yeah.
And then it'll have a little asterisk on it, and like you go look somewhere else to see what that means. And,
Yes.
And like that whole like finding out more about the detail through like little asterisks. Asterisks are always like something that are used to like point out more detail. But it points out like look further into this.
Yeah.
Like this asterisk has something to
Yeah.
make you look further into it to see what they actually mean.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole idea behind it, actually. And then the tagline being the little things.
Yeah.
Just like it's the little things that make all the difference.
When I'm writing notes and stuff, I use asterisks to like remember, to like come back to certain, like if I'm writing out a ton of notes, but I like want to remember a specific section or something, you know, I'll use an asterisk so it just
That's
like
fun.
stands out. But the correct, use, right, is like in books and stuff to like, dig into further detail.
But
I kind of forgot that.
Yeah, I like that you have your own thing for it. I think the thing that I use asterisks the most for is when I before we could edit text.
Yeah.
If I did something wrong, or like I said something I didn't mean, or like whatever, I put what I actually meant with an asterisk.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but
Yeah.
that was my most use of asterisks. I've been told, you know, whatever you have, you understand, or that you want for yourself is usually like the thing that you have to offer others. A lot of it is in forms of like what you didn't have when you were younger.
Yeah.
And I think I was fortunate as younger. I did have a lot of like playfulness and sparkly, but I've definitely like let that be more of my personality now, and like trying to like fully incorporate that into myself.
Yeah.
And so maybe that is like we were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
About how no matter what, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, your life and where you're at always gets embedded into your art somehow. Maybe that's what that was.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying that now, and I've never thought about that. But that's probably where it comes from.
I'm sure in each different, like if I were to ask you this question in a year, you might have a different answer.
Yeah.
Just because you're at a different spot. Or a year ago, you probably would have had maybe a little bit of a different answer of how it's relating to you in that moment. Yeah.
It's also fun having it not like tied to my identity as much. It feels more flexible with that.
Yeah.
Because I am constantly changing.
Yeah.
And then like with Schmood, sometimes when I would change, it would be jarring to people.
Yeah.
Because like they base like this whole identity around like this version of me.
Yep.
That dies and changes constantly.
For sure.
You know?
Who you are impacts asterisks in a way, but it's not in a way of like your face being like the face of it, you know? It can live on its own.
I think I'm realizing, we were talking about this yesterday a little bit, like no matter what decision you make, I don't think there's like a right or wrong. It's the growth thing.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you make a decision and you think it's wrong or you think it's right, you're like, it's wrong and I'm not growing.
Yeah.
Or it's right and I'm growing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so much right or wrong. I think it's like you make a decision, you're growing
Yeah.
your tree branch, which shows,
Yeah.
or you're growing your roots, which you don't really see.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So I don't think there's any right or wrong. I don't think there's any way to escape growth when you
Yeah.
make a decision.
Yeah. When you're overthinking, it's because you're trying to make the best decision possible.
Yeah.
With the best possible outcome. But she was like, the best decision is literally just the one you make.
Yeah.
It's not like, because if once you make it and you stick to it, then that's what you're creating, and that's what's gonna like play out.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly thinking about like, but was the other decision better? It's like, who knows? Like maybe
Yeah.
in some way, but it's just the one you make that's gonna like make all the difference and actually impact your life.
And it's funny, even like with Asterisk and like the logo and the brand, the tagline, when I was doing it, I'm like, I don't know if this is exactly what I want. It's not quite dialed in. And one, I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just do it and stick to it. Get out of the sink. It doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah.
pick something that has something meaning to you
Yeah.
and push it.
And then run with it.
Run with it. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be permanent.
No.
You're welcome to change.
Yeah.
It's hard with branding because if you do constantly change, I mean that's the whole idea of like having a logo, is that it's something recognizable and people can know, you know. So like, you don't want to be changing every week because then you're not a brand unless that is your brand. There's no rules.
That's true.
Maybe your brand is that it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
You know.
You gotta follow with us to find out what our brand is this week.
Yeah, and like that could actually be its own thing.
Yeah.
Like that could be a hook for people to follow you. So like
Yeah.
there are no rules.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, don't change so often, but fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
Change it.
It's a game.
It's a
Yeah,
game.
I don't
Everything's a
know.
game. You can do whatever you want.
You can literally do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Is the perfect thing is gonna be imperfect.
Yes.
If you want to relate to someone,
Yeah.
it's gotta be human. It's gotta be fallible. It has to be, you know. So like, we get gummed up on making decisions, or like gummed up on starting a brand or starting anything.
Yeah.
But like, it needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
But in the end, you don't want it to be perfect.
No.
You want it to be relatable. You want to find your people. You want it to be a reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that deep, and you're going to do it no matter what, like we've talked about. Like, no matter what you create, it's going to be some sort of reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
Even subconsciously. But in the end, it's like, I don't know, you don't look at nature and like see like its flaws and like see like a thing and be like, oh, that's not perfect.
Yeah. That leaves in the wrong spot.
That leaves in the wrong spot. And that's kind of the way that you can frame any sort of brand or any sort of like thing that you're creating. Just growing leaves.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong spot.
Yeah.
You know? This is the most important thing I could have ever told you in your whole life. Let's go. Oh my gosh, just locked. Wait, did I? Hi, this is my first time opening a door. I did it.
It's warm.
This is basically Marshall's studio now.
Okay.
My basement it is. It's a mess. Dan's supposed to clean this shit up. Dan, you're in trouble. We need this piece and this piece. So this is going to Sam. And this one's going to Shell. We're gonna wrap it up for Sam. This isn't the ideal setup for Asterisk, but it works.
What's the ideal setup?
Big, brick and mortar, lots of natural lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. But for right now, this is what we have. Something that one of my friends who had this beanie company And we were working out of his like basement, but he had like, we were making retail store like setup stuff that looked so professional. And he said to me, he's like, no one will know like how small you are. Like if you make like really nice stuff and do presentations, they're gonna think you're a huge company, and like as professional as you present yourself as professional people are gonna think you are. So it doesn't matter how humble, you know, your workspace is. I held on to that. I think most of it's because I'm trying to be okay that how humble this little workspace is, with like a vision of what it will be. That's what I tell myself. It's fine. Okay. There's Sam's piece. Get off. There we go. Perfect fit.
And like explain things. He's like, well, here you can see that he used like a palette knife for this part and like a thin brush for this. And he's like, you'll see how he changed the direction of the strokes here. Like Zach just explains it all. It's just really cool.
Do what's well is I don't think I could. I don't know. Maybe I don't give myself credit, but I'm like in my head. I'm like I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It takes like someone who actually has like spent so much time painting and knowing like strokes.
He paints everything upside down because he's like,
back door?
yeah, he's like, because I can't look at like the whole sheet. He's like, if I'm thinking of the whole sheet, it will make it really hard to paint this ear. So all I have to do is I flip it upside down, and then I just look at the shape of just this one shade of color, and I just paint that shape.
I want to try that.
He's like, because if I'm trying to paint an ear, it'll be too hard. He's like, but if I'm trying to paint like this one little like upside down U type circle, like I can do that. Have like professional artists people on staff.
Yes.
I get along with those folks. Yes, I mean,
This one it was like local. I needed them to be local. This time it's gonna be. It's fine. I'm sober. Deal with it. Just chill about it. I don't want to make it about me or a big deal. Alright. Here goes nothing. After I get ideas kind of made up for each collaborator so that I can pitch them to McKenna and she'll draw them out for a pitch deck. Pitch to pitch. From there, once we have it in the pitch deck kind of drawn out, we can just present them to the collaborator. But if I can have a basic idea, it makes this process better. As someone who's always balancing the creative side of my business with the endless admin tasks, I'm constantly looking for tools that actually make my life easier. That's where Squarespace comes in. It's been a lifesaver for me, and here's why. First, the design studio is next level. I have a lot of ideas, but structuring them in an efficient and aesthetic manner can be tough. The design studio is essentially plug and play, allowing me to go from idea to execution in a matter of minutes. Squarespace has helped me create something stunning in literally no time. It's intuitive, and the results look incredible. Second, memberships have been huge for business. I've been able to set up exclusive content for my community, manage access seamlessly, and even bring in a steady revenue stream, all without needing a ton of extra tools. And finally, domains. So Squarespace has made it ridiculously easy to find and secure the perfect domain for your brand. No jumping through hoops, no third-party hassles, it's all built in and straightforward. So Squarespace has taken so much off my plate. Instead of stressing over the nitty-gritty, I can actually focus on what I actually love, which is making cool things for cool people. And it's an all-in-one software. So visit squarespace.com/schmood to start your free trial, and you're ready to launch. You can use the coupon code SCHMOOD to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. We're heading to Thule Bakery. We're gonna meet up with McKenna and get some of the designs I just brainstormed out on paper and onto a pitch deck so that we can send them to the collaborators and see if they are down to do it or not. I was worried about the
Jeez, that was like rocket science. So it goes apart with the
grabbing a toothpick. How fitting.
I got a tattoo.
Oh, that's right.
Probably can't see it.
That was moral support.
And now we're here. We started in this kitchen, and we're ending in this kitchen.
Usually when we end where we start, it creates this like some sense of like completeness. Completion. So there you go, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel complete?
Yes. Bye. Good night.
I'm gonna go to bed. It's bedtime.
Mm-hmm. I'm a simple man.
I'm a simple man.
I only want everything I could ever need.
That's what it is.
But I only need everything I could ever want. That's what it is.
Simple man.
Alright, so be sure to like and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell notification. And yeah.